We don't need to dive into the Jaylen Williams, Shaden Sharp draft stuff, though I always want to do that because I watched that last night and I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
Well, he did fall 12. To be fair to us, we weren't the only team. If you redraft that draft, that dude now, knowing what we know,
would have gone higher than 12. Is that what you're
my
telling me?
lordy.
Probably would have been drafted ahead of Shaden Sharp, who didn't play any college basketball, and that was a pretty bad draft to begin with.
Well, my brother-in-law, who, again, is an avid diehard, everything is good Blazers, he says Shaden was a swing. And I said, yeah, well, so would have Jaylen Williams. He played from a small school.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you the school. Where'd Jaylen Williams come from?
Santa Clara? Santa Clara, yeah. I remember they were a tourney team, weren't they?
Yeah, I saw him up close and personal, just torching the pilots.
Are you shocked by this, though, seeing him do this in the NBA, 40 points in a finals game?
Yeah, I couldn't have predicted this, that he would be a successful player in the NBA. Clear, yeah.
He's a 6'5" wing. He averaged 18 points per game his last year, and he shot 40% from three.
And I know
51% from the floor.
I know he doesn't jump as high as Shaden, but with his physicality, he's every bit as athletic, if not more.
He was his senior year at Santa Clara. He was their best rebounder in terms of when he decided he wanted to go get rebounds. Now, sometimes, they had some 7-footers, so there were guys that collected more just because they were by the rim. But if you needed to go get a rebound or an offensive rebound, keep a possession alive, get a possession, he was the guy that went and got it.
I think the thing I hate about it the most is Sam Presti's probably going to get his first championship as a general manager. The Thunder look like they're poised to win this thing. And it's not even the ring that makes me the most happy if I'm Presti. I'm walking away going, yes, my Pippen is scoring 40 in a finals game.
It's huge. That was the whole question about them is, can their Robins show up? Can their number twos be true number twos or number threes that lead you to a championship? I think that was the biggest question about OKC going into the playoffs. And while they at times had bad moments or bad games or bad performances,
when
they
did.
Needed them the most, a la a huge pivotal Game 5 at home, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying SGA wasn't outstanding last night. He had a good game. But Jaylen Williams was the story, and that was your number two. And when you get that in the NBA Finals, you're really hard to beat.
I think ESPN is on to us. I think the Blazers and ESPN are on to us because if Gavoni puts out a mock with his name attached to Portland, we're all going to assume that's the Schmitz pick.
Yes.
So they're having Jeremy Woo make the Blazer pick. Smart move.
Friend of the program.
Jeremy Woo, good friend of the program. The latest mock is out. The draft is in 8 days. Care to guess who we're drafting at 11? We mentioned Jaylen was a 12th pick, or the 12th pick.
Yeah.
Maybe we find our Jaylen Williams at the 11th pick.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we're drafting a point guard.
Kind of.
Kind of.
A sort of guard.
Oh, we got a sort of guard.
A swing guard.
Oh, we got nice.
Who's on the court? He'll play any position you need.
He can do it all for you, Bob.
Kasparis Yakachonis is the latest mock to the Portland Trailblazers at 11. 6'4" 3/4" without shoes. So 6'5" guy.
Big, tall guy.
Close to 6'6". He's about 200 pounds. And we've talked about him before, about his skill set. And now he's not just true point guard. He's a swing guard. So he can play your one. He can play the two. Maybe with the right personnel, could swing at the three a little bit here and there.
Yes.
So it seems like we're going to get an Igor.
Yegor.
A Yegor. Or a Kasparis.
And both of them primarily are point guards, which is just a little ironic and funny.
Yegor's
I know they're bigger,
more of just a true point guard.
I know the body sizes are different than your traditional point guard that we have gotten used to over the years, undersized and below 6'2". At least these guys are taller and more athletic and longer. So I will give this front office credit for that. I will continue to ask the main question, and that is, what are the other moves that happen this offseason if either of those guys are your draft picks? But it does sound like there's a lot of smoke with Kasparis. Like, that just seems like every mock that I'm reading right now.
It feels like it's very loud.
It's building. It's
He's
getting
in the
very
10 to
loud.
15 range, according to ESPN. Playmaking, versatility, intangibles.
And it'd be pretty surprising if he went ahead. And, if he went top 7, I think that'd be a pretty surprising selection at this point.
But if he's 10th to Houston,
he very well could be one pick before.
They kind of need something like him.
Again, it depends on what the rest of their offseason moves are and what they're looking at.
The Rockets are drafting Carter Bryant in this mock.
Carter Bryant going one ahead of us.
Pissed.
Carter Bryant becoming the next big thing in Houston is going to be our next thing that we complain about with the draft?
Well, they're going to have
at least we wouldn't have had the opportunity to draft him. We had the chance to get Jaylen Williams 3 years ago.
They have 2 Amen Thompsons potentially.
They do.
If Carter Bryant plays the way Swag thinks he's going to play and how
That's-
some draft pundits, imagine them with two Amin Thompsons and a Kevin Durant.
A wing that develops an offensive game and,
6'7.5"
who
and
wants
just
that
rangy and long and athletic.
What's that guy?
Dude, his wingspan, Carter Bryant's is 6'11 and 3/4.
It is pretty wild that the NBA draft is
8 days.
week from tomorrow.
I know, it's nuts.
Like I feel like this is a lot. Am I wrong on that? That this is a lot earlier than it normally is, or is this always when it falls? Is it always the last week of June?
Yeah, it's usually the week after the NBA Finals set Game 7.
Yeah, this is normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we got to wait. So Thursday would be Game 6. Well, will be Game 6.
Sunday would be Game 7.
And
if
Sunday
it gets
would be
there.
Game 7. So you would go Sunday to, like, the NBA season could end if it goes to 7 on
Yeah.
Sunday, and then you have your draft on Wednesday.
Yep.
I love the quick turnaround because it's at top of mind. You're ready to go. There's already trades that are happening. There'll probably be more. So I like that there's a quick turnaround. It's just like, all right, here we go off season.
Kasparis or Yegor? Feels like those are the two top.
I mean, based on the current construct of the roster, I would lean Kasparis because he can do more than. I think the Demon question is he's not a great shooter and he's a primary point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Scoot is
We
not
got
a great
one of
shooter
those.
and a primary point guard. So is Scoot Henderson in your long-term plans?
He is next year.
Okay, so
I think
I
it's
mean,
a
you're
year-to-year thing at this point.
You're just drafting a taller version of the guard that you just drafted 3rd overall, a
Well,
guy
and
who's
also-
not an elite shooter who has to have the ball in his hands in order to be an effective playmaker.
The difficulty I have with this is the last point guard you drafted, you're already telling me you're not sure about.
2 years in, you might be drafting another one.
Yeah, so why should
Yeah.
I trust your evaluations on
You
this
shouldn't,
one?
Bob. You shouldn't. Question and then verify
Kasparis.
with everything. We don't
Yakachonis.
just blindly say these guys know what they're doing.
Yakachonis, very blazery jersey. I could see that
Yakachonis
everywhere.
is a good Blazer jersey.
That's
He's-
also a jersey
yeah.
that in 10 years we go, dude,
Yeah, remember that pick?
I saw Yakachonis in the wild.
Remember that Luke Babbitt draft pick when he had those high socks? Remember that? That was our draft pick. We did
Hope
that.
I'm wrong, though. Hope he's a good player.
I do too. He's more. I mean, it makes more sense with the current construct of the roster. If Scoot Henderson is going to be traded this offseason, then go ahead and take the Demon kid. I don't care. He
They're
could
not
be.
going to trade Scoot this summer. You think they're going to trade him?
I don't think they're going to do anything. So
Right.
no, but somebody should go. Somebody's got to go.
Rupa?
I mean, he doesn't really matter because he
you're
hasn't
right.
played in the NBA. Well, I know he's played, but you get my point. One of the guards has to go this offseason, right?
Point of this segment, you might be asking?
Right?
It's nice to have a Jaylen Williams on your team.
Yeah, if only we had a chance to take him.
Don't do that.
Took a slam dunk pick who didn't play any college basketball.